that dwell therein.
Such are all they that dwell therein. Now, how can it say that? Because if you got an upright person, then they going to what? They're looking for the corruption. When news of corruption reaches their ears, they take care of it. And then they make a swift and speedy and public example so as to what? So as to discourage that. So as to deter that type of behavior. So when you got corruption, drugs on the street, you know what I'm saying? Rapid-ass homosexuals running around. That's because, let me say this, that goes without saying. Many of the states now are passing legislation, you understand, for gays to be able to marry. Now, don't get me wrong, they can already adopt kids. It's like they so wicked, they took one step before the other. They gave them the right to adopt children before they even gave them the right to marry. But they're coming back and covering that base now. So who's responsible for that? But the realm, the agency, the branch that establishes what is and what is not legal. And the reason they're all encountered wicked in the first place is because they're not using the laws of the Heavenly Father. If they were using the laws of the Heavenly Father, that's why the scripture says they swear falsely on the Most High's name. That's in the book. That's in the Bible. The Lord refers to the kingdom in Zechariah chapter 5 that swears falsely by his name. And what he means is, like on their dollar bill it says, in God we trust. In their courthouses they say, in God we trust. And then they actually open up their trials by having all parties involved, or who are to testify at least, swearing that they'll tell the truth on the bottom. Then they use an entire different document to judge or to rule the case by. So now, going back, now that we've seen that, no, one more. Go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6. And you're going to read verses. Start at verse 1.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 verse 1. Hear therefore, O ye kings.
Hear, listen. So when he say kings, today they could be called what? Prime ministers, presidents, chancellors. You understand? He's talking about rulers. Go ahead. Or even governors that can be used today. Go ahead. Hear therefore, O ye kings,
and understand. Learn, you that be judges of the ends of the earth.
Learn, you that be judges of the ends of the earth. When he said the ends of the earth, he's talking about all the rulers that can be found in the world. That's what the ends of the earth mean. All throughout the earth is what it's saying. Go ahead.
Give ear, ye that rule the people.
Give ear. This is the Lord saying give ear to him. Ye that rule the people, give ear. Go ahead.
And glory in the multitude of nations.
Yeah, and if your glory is in the multitude of nations, in other words, if you can take pride in the fact that you have nations subject to you, which is talking about the United States, it's talking about the Edomite power structure between the United States, between the banking families of London, between the EU. Go ahead.
For power is given you of the Lord.
It said the Lord gave these rulers power. Go ahead.
And sovereignty from the highest.
Continue.
Who shall try your works.
When he said try, the Most High is going to let these people run their course, and he's testing them. He's measuring them. But he's measuring them by the works that they do. Go ahead.
And search out your counsels.
Go ahead.
Because being ministers of his kingdom.
When it says being ministers, that's why they call servant leaders prime ministers. Meaning they're the first servant. They're actually there what? To serve. When it said being ministers of his kingdom, meaning this kingdom it's all the Most High's. But he set certain people up to govern it. And he gave them opportunity to see of what sort they would prove themselves to be. So it said once again, for power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. Read it again, verse 4.
Because being ministers of his kingdom,
being servants of his in this world, go ahead.
You have not judged aright.
And now it says ye have not judged aright. But we already read, whatever manner of as the judge is, so are all the people themselves. So are all the people that he judged. So that means if the judge has not judged right, then how could the people be right? If the person in charge is not right and he's been instructing him, how in the hell can you say, how can one dare say, well, I'm righteous, I'm not like him, when he's been following and heeding the orders of it, heeding the laws. Listen, operating in the latitude that the wicked judge has been given. That's why faggots and child molesters and drug dealers and all this stuff do what they do. Because they're allowed to. Go ahead.
Nor kept the law, nor walk after the counsel of the Most High.
Because ye being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law. What law is it talking about? The Most High's law. It just said it. Nor walk after the counsel of the Most High. It says God, but we use the term the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you.
No, what does it mean when it says horribly and speedily? It's saying he's not going to take that man down. It's saying he's going to take down that kingdom. All right. Once again, this is all dynamic. That's taken. You know what beautiful that we're reading this? Because this is all within the realm of breaking down the topic heaven. But we're finding out that all of this is things that take place on earth. Judges, people. You know what I'm saying? The neglect of following the law, of following one's own counsel instead of the counsel of the Most High. This is all stuff that the Most High is measuring within our world, within the realm of men, that he referred to as heaven. Go ahead, read verse 5 from the top again.
Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you. For a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places.
Now, what is the highest place on the world right now, if not the United States? If not the Edomite power structure? When I say Edomite power structure, because out of every power structure, you still have a pinnacle. You still have the top. And then all of what they call their power hierarchy. From the top, the most important, to the top, the least important. He that wields the least authority. The Most High is going to throw them all down. Now we can go back to Isaiah chapter 14 and pick up where we left off. I'm going to read verse 4, you pick up with 5. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. So it's saying the kingdom, in essence, of Babylon, all right? And say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. It's talking about a kingdom that's known for being oppressive. Continue, brother.
Verse 5. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked.
The staff is the power structure of the wicked. Go ahead.
And the scepter of the rulers.
The scepter is talking about the authority, the rulership of the rulers. Go ahead.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger.
Listen to that. A person that ruled. Now that's why I want to get that, okay? But I'm going to wait till we get to verse 13 to get that sign out.
Okay.
All right? Or it's actually it's actually before that. Go ahead. Read on down.
He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
When they say continual stroke, it's talking about a kingdom that never let up off of what? And I got to go to it now. Read it again. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. Go ahead.
He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered.
Now, who else could it be talking about? Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this sign, bring the thing right here, and I'm going to show you a list. I'm going to bring it on up top here. Now, this is a list beginning with China. This is written in Spanish because we're in Guatemala, okay? When it says lugares, países bombardeados por Estados Unidos desde el fin de la Segunda Guerra Mundial, all that's saying is countries or nations, places or nations that have been bombed by the United States since the end of World War II. So you see, China, from 1945 to 46, and then again, and from 50 to 53. North Korea, from 1953 to 1953. It should have been 1950 to 53. South Korea, 1950 to 53. That was during the Korean War. Guatemala, where we are, they bombed Guatemala in 1954. They bombed Indonesia in 1958. They bombed Cuba in 59 to 60. They came back and made a U-turn and hit Guatemala again in 1960, 6 years later. They went on and did a 12-year rampage in Vietnam, okay, from 1961 to 1973. They went down to the Belgian Congo, 1964. They were in Laos from between 64 and 73, 11 years. That Laos got dragged into the war with Vietnam, just like Afghanistan or Iraq got dragged in the war on terror after they assaulted Afghanistan. Then Laos, like I said, in 1964 to 1973. Then you got Guatemala. What was it about Guatemala, man? Like what? Did they have weapons of mass destruction too? No, they have plantations